Hey, it's Wednesday, so we are going to be diving into some wisdom from Proverbs. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Shane Gerhard, and today we're getting into Proverbs chapter 1, verse 14. Now, this has been a series from verse 8 all the way down to now verse 14. It's been a continuous flow about a certain subject. I've gone into each one of these verses one at a time each single week, so if you haven't listened to those, make sure to go back and check them out. However, just to make sure we're on the same page, I'm going to give you a quick little overview to make sure that we're flowing together. In the very beginning, it talks about who you should and should not be listening to. You should be listening to your father's instructions and your mother's teachings. You should not be listening to the sinners. Now, sinners are a certain people group. They are aligned with the enemy. They look more like the world. They have chosen to not be a part of God's life. They're not just not aware of God, they are against God. They are self-serving, seeking only themselves, and they align with what the enemy's character is. And then the next few verses talk about how they deceive you, and there's opportunities for you to not be persuaded by their lies. But they come in and they say, hey, let's ambush and kill someone. Let's attack innocent people just for fun. Now, it's so easy to glance over all these things because it doesn't relate to us. But I promise you, there is so much to unpack from every single one of these verses, and each one does relate to you. Specifically, the next one in verse 12 where it says, let's swallow them alive. I mean, what do you have to do to swallow something alive? You have to be ravenous. There is a mental mindset shift when you are destroying things just to survive, and that's what it gets you to. It gets you to this place where you are completely disconnected from reason, discipline, patience, counsel. That's what the enemy wants from you. He wants you to just act purely on inhibition and desire and not have rational thought. Then it goes into verse 13 where it starts telling you that if you do all these things, you'll get valuable property. You'll get houses full of plunder. What does that mean? It means that is the way the enemy convinces you to do these things is by giving you things. Hey, you'll have fame, you'll have wealth, you'll have this fortune, but just give me your soul. Which leads us into today's verse, verse 14, which says, throw in your lot with us, and we'll share all the loot. The first thing that stood out to me of this verse is we'll all share the loot. This is the enemy trying to convince you that you and him are on the same team. So what the enemy tries to do is isolate you, get you to believe that who you're currently with is not right and you should side with him. I mean, this is what he did to Eve. Eve had the greatest place on earth to exist, and the enemy came in and deceived her, convinced her that God was holding out on her, that she wasn't getting the full experience. But if she listens to him, oh, she'll know all of it. She'll have so much more, and yet she lost everything for following Satan's lies. That's what the enemy will try and do. He'll try to convince you that he's on your side. Another thing that stood out to me when it says we'll share all the loot, it's an example of more. It's not enough. Just earlier, he was just promising you that, hey, if you kill, if you just steal, if you destroy, I'll give you fame, fortune, all that you can ask for. And yet here it is saying, oh, there's more. There's always going to be more from the enemy. You'll never be content with what you have as long as you partner with sinners. As long as you separate yourself from God, you align with the enemy, you'll never be content. He'll always promise the next thing. It will always be the grass is greener on the other side. It'll never be enough. You'll never have the peace where you are when you side with the enemy. And this is what it's showing. Hey, we'll all share the loot. We're a team, we're one, but then you'll have what I have. I'll keep on giving you more and more and more. But let me ask you this. If the team you're on stole everything they had, they kill, they steal, they destroy, why wouldn't they do that to you eventually? Sure, in the beginning, they may come through for you and they may have your back, but at the end of the day, why wouldn't they do the same thing to you? There's no honor amongst thieves. That's not true. Thieves are liars, and they will come against their own kind if it benefits them. Don't believe the lie that the media portrays that there's honor amongst thieves. That is not true. The enemy is only convincing you to destroy you. That's it. But maybe it's also not just what you can get, but maybe it's what they can get. Because if you're pulling it in, they can access everything that you have, and you're giving them the ability to take anything that you have. You're literally saying, here's everything I have, take it. And now the enemy can literally steal from you because you willingly gave yourself to them. But here's probably the most influential piece of this very verse, and it's the very first few words: throw in your lot with us. When you throw in your lot to a group, you believe you're adding into something. Yes, you do feel like you're part of a team, which is what I touched on earlier. Not necessarily the team you want to be on, but hey, you do you. However, what this is doing is convincing you that you're doing a good thing. Sin has a tendency to make you believe that what you're currently doing is okay. Your mind will always have a rational thought towards doing evil. You'll rationalize what evil action that you're committing and convince yourself that it's okay. I promise you, it's not. You know, there's amazing books that analyze what a killer's last thoughts are. There was a killer in New York that was in a shootout with a bunch of police officers in the early 1900s, and he wrote a letter as he was bleeding saying, "I only did what I thought was good." This guy who had killed so many people, killed police officers on the side of the road for fun, wrote a letter saying, "I'm a good guy. I'm cool. I'm a good one. I only did what I thought was right." No one is really convinced that they're evil. That is what makes such good villains in superhero movies, is getting you, the audience, to believe that what he's doing is right. If you can side with him and agree, you have more empathy for this person. But on the other hand, this is what we do to ourselves literally all the time when we're committing sin, is we make rational thought as to why it's okay. There is nothing right about killing, stealing, or destroying, even on the micro level, but our mind convinces us that it is okay. And that's what this is. It has a placement of trying to tell you, it's okay. Hey, you're doing a good thing. Hey, we're all on the same team. Hey, if you keep going with us, there's more, there's more, there's more. Listen, this is the strategy of the enemy to take you away from God. He'll convince you that what you're doing is okay, that your sin is all right. He'll say, hey, I got your back. You and I, we're on a team, and there's more of us out there. And hey, I'll give you more and more and more. It'll never end. The fortune of the world be all yours. But we talked about this earlier, didn't we? In the last video, that Satan took Jesus up onto the mountaintop and said, hey, all this is yours. If you just worship me, you follow me. And Jesus resisted the devil, and he was given the entire world. Resist the devil, and you'll have eternal life. There's nothing greater than your relationship with Jesus. Nothing greater. It is worth everything and anything to stay on the narrow path, remain in Jesus, and have him say, I knew you on this time in the earth. I love you, I'm embracing you, and you have eternal life. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to today's Wisdom Seed Wednesdays. Again, my name is Shane Gerhard, and every single week I go into a verse of Proverbs and just unpack it for you. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps my channel, but I want to hear from you. What about this verse stood out to you? Is there anything that you saw or heard that you didn't know before? Did anything catch your attention? Did you have any questions about it? Let me know in the comment section. I'd love to have a conversation with you there. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.